This video is brought to you by my new album entitled Dougal's Treats. It's full of hummable melodies, bluesy riffs and the occasional bit of virtuoso flashy stuff as well. If you enjoy bluesy rock guitar with memorable tunes and solos that wail like a banshee, then check out the links in the description. The premium version includes all of the tabs for each tune, videos and jam tracks as well. Thanks for listening, now on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. That was another one of my customary morning warm-up jams. Some days I come up here into my little converted back bedroom of an office and think, you know what, I'm feeling pretty energised today. I'll video this one, and it doesn't always work out for the best, but this morning I think, yeah, I'm happy enough with that one. The keen-eyed amongst you possibly even noticed some breakfast remnants residing on the front of my shirt. Usually that's taken care of before I come up here by this chap here, Dougal. He often inspects my shirt just to make sure it's presentable for the camera, but today he obviously missed something. Anyway, I digress. What is the point of the video today? Well, in that solo, you no doubt noticed that I was using varying levels of gain, and long-term viewers of this channel will know that I don't tend to do that via foot switches and presets and amp channels and stuff. I just like to mess around with the controls on the guitar. It just seems a more organic way of doing it. And it all stems from, because these Wednesday videos are all about light bulb moments for me. And there was one that was enforced on me in sort of, I'm going to say about 1994-ish. I had a 3-channel Marshall 30th anniversary combo. It was my pride and joy when it worked. Which that's a whole other story. Reliability and Marshall aren't necessarily words that can appear together that often. Yeah, anyway, one period when it was working, it was like I had the 2 guitar cases and the amp, and then I had like a hold-all with kind of spare leads and foot switch and a couple of like chorus pedal and stuff, basically the rest of the gubbins that you take with you when you're gigging. And I'd come out the house when I'd been picked up by the band van. I'd come out the house and forgot the hold-all, so got to the gig and didn't even have a lead, but luckily the bass player had a spare, so I could use that. But I didn't have my foot switch. I couldn't go between my clean and dirty sounds. What was a boy to do? Well, I'd read in guitar magazines about old school guitar players using the guitar's volume control to vary the levels of gain, and I was forced to do it that night, and I've never looked back. Here is the technique that, through being a forgetful numpty and forgetting to take my my hold-all with me to a gig, and therefore not having a foot switch, here's the technique that I learned pretty much on a ad hoc need to do it now basis back in the 90s.
Here is the explanation.
Okay, so the first thing to do is to dial in the absolute dirtiest, most gainy sound you're going to need in your performance. These days I'm tending to use the Blue Guitar Amp 1, as you know, if you're a regular watcher of this channel. I use it on the vintage channel, which is just a sort of Marshall plexi kind of thing, but it's got its own kind of character as well. You know, I know that because I've been comparing it to some Marshall NAM captures lately, and this kind of stands out very much in its own way. I used to use, for the highest gain sort of sounds, the same amp, but with the, on the classic channel with the foot switchable boost engage, and that is a real kind of, well, for me, a real kind of monster of a high gain sound. I mean, I suppose if you're into Slipknot or, you know, Napalm Death, you'd laugh at that being described as a high gain sound. But these days, I'm tending just to go for the slightly more sedate vintage channel on the Blue Guitar Amp 1, which sounds like this. And that's plenty enough gain for me. I can do all of the kind of soloing kind of stuff that I need to do. You know, it's a good rock rhythm guitar sounds. Probably a little bit too gainy for certain kind of things. If I was going to do something a bit like what I've just played there, I'd probably back the guitar's volume control off a little bit for maybe something like this. It's just got a little bit more definition there. You can hear the individual notes within the chords perhaps a little bit more. But yeah, dial in the absolute most kind of dirtiest sound you're going to need for whatever you're going to be playing. And one reason I'll kind of gravitate more to a Les Paul these days is because I've got my channel changer here on the guitar. I don't have to have a foot switch. So what you just heard there was, I think, the treble pickup, the bridge pickup on about 6 or 7, and initially it was on 10. It's back up on 10 now. But if I have the neck pickup on, gosh, what's that on? Probably about 2, then I can, not changing the sound on the amp, I can strut my funky stuff and play cowboy chords all day long. Clean as a whistle, all of the clarity and definition that you need there, and you know, it makes for a nice, what's the word, plummy kind of clean lead tone as well. Like that. You can dial it in a little bit more. Let's just give that a little bit more body. It's not, you're not going to perceive this as more of a kind of increase in gain, just an increase in sort of fullness. And then back to the kind of cowboy chord. Dial it back a little bit more maybe. I find myself, you know, when I'm playing through something, I'll often just go and make adjustments, not really thinking about it. It just becomes an intuitive thing. And then when you want to kind of, you know, put your foot up on the monitor and kind of head back and, you know, really go for it with a solo, just kick to the bridge pickup and you got... it's all there for you, and you're not having to remember presets, and you're not having to remember which foot switch to kind of stand on. What I also like about this is that whatever effects you've got on tend to, like I've got a little bit of delay and reverb on here. Those tend to react in the same way as well. You don't tend to get that thing where the amount of reverb and delay you have on for your clean sound, it sounds completely inappropriate for your lead sound. It all just seems to kind of work in harmony. And, I notice that when I go from the sort of strummy kind of sound to that kind of big dirty sound, the change in volume is just the right amount to kind of work in a mix. For me, it's just like the day I discovered that you could actually use these things and that they weren't just there to kind of, for decoration or to kind of fill up some space on the front of the guitar, that they actually have a purpose. It was just, this is so much easier. Especially, as I say, on a Les Paul, if you need that instant sort of change from clean, dirty, that sort of binary thing that you can only really get, well, typically you'd only get with some sort of foot switchable change in sound, then it's there for you. You don't have to be tied to a particular spot on the stage to hit that foot switch, because it's wherever you are, this is. And, and you've also got that sort of tweakability in between as well. It's just, I think, the most user-friendly way of, getting the range of different gain levels that you need for playing pretty much in any situation. So, now you know what to do. Try it yourself, have some fun with it. And as I say, that is very much the way that I prefer to do it these days. It's one of the reasons why any guitar that I demo, like I recently did a couple of De-Armand guitars, a Bluesbird and a Starfire, and again the volume controls, not beautiful guitars, played lovely, sounded great when everything was turned up full, but you back the volume control off and it was just not usable. So any guitar that doesn't have working volume controls, at least the tone control is nice as well. I've done videos in the past on how I like to dial in the tone control, so if you missed that, I'll put a link to it in the description. But any guitar that fails that test is a non-starter for me, and I just, especially, as I say, with a Les Paul, where you've effectively got a channel switch built into the guitar, it just makes it such a what's that word? Organic. I don't really like using that word, but you know what I mean. An intuitive, all hands-on, without having to think about standing on pedals and worrying about what the pedalboard's situation is at any given time. It's there, and I have overall control of it without having to think about anything else, because I'm a simple lad, and the less I have to think about, the easier life is, really. So there you go. That's just my approach, basically a demonstration of approach that I've mentioned many times in videos. There is a full tab, by the way, for the solo at the start of the video in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, and the clip of me playing at the jam track, and I'll put that little demonstration explanation video up there as well. All of that is, as usual, up on my Patreon page. There's the address, link in the description, and as I'm sure you know by now, it's $3 or about £3 a month, and you get access to all of these goodies that go along with these YouTube videos. And of course, a massive, humongous, heartfelt and sincere thank you to everyone who supports me in that or any of the other ways, all of which are down there in the description. And that's pretty much all I've got for you for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed the video and found it entertaining, informative, useful in some small way. And if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. Why not drop me a like as well while you're at it? And of course, the live stream, just got to give that a plug, every Friday 5 PM UK time. We just drink beer and chat, basically. It's nothing any more complicated than that. It doesn't need to be, because what else do you want to do on a Friday other than have a beer and a chat? It's a great way to kick off the weekend. I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.